Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tumbleweeds and Tombstones, the game where each week, or whenever we play because of life, my players accuse me of trying to kill them, and I have to remind them that they're already dead.
Nice.
Is this the only? But at this point, the
Is
only
this
episodes
the
I have are in
afterlife?
mental ward.
Is this
I'm dead.
when we die? Do we see Sean without a beard?
Yes, and you can decide if that is your reward or punishment.
Today he will have stubble differences.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I stretched for that one.
Wow.
Your results may vary.
Oh my god.
Let's not goatee there.
I need a pen.
I'm in hot hirsute of a subject change.
I would ask you a question. But
Looks a lot more like a Sean.
Man,
recap.
that was a close shave.
All right. Puns aside, let's go ahead and recap because it's actually been a couple weeks since we've all gotten a chance to play because, life. So when last the Obsidian Spurs gathered, you guys finally were gearing up to head out and be able to make your way towards the encampment of the Lupines using a combination of the young Comanche man who actually is a Lupine himself by the name of PETA, who has agreed to lead you guys safely there in exchange for giving him a day to try and get as much of his people out of there and out of harm's way once everything goes down. He's also giving you valuable information about who the heads of the different factions are, in case you guys want to try and cut off the head of the snake, and also what their loyalties most likely would be if you decide, rather than just out and out trying to kill all of them, if you try to out Ichitai for the involvement in the murder of his father, the previous chief, Murakuro. You brought along with your normal group, you have Asmodeus, one of the generals of your employer, Lord Pembroke, who is his weapons expert. You have Bartleby, Liam's ghoul, coming with you as someone to drive the carriage during the daytime hours. You also have the ex-crusader librarian / vampire hunter in the form of Henry. And I think that's everybody.
Yeah, we left Jericho at home.
You left Jericho at home, for better or for worse. You'll see the state of the place when you get there.
You don't know what's going on.
I have a nosy neighbor checking in on him.
Exactly. You're good. Maybe a handful of turkey vultures looking for a handout. Who knows? Henry was also there to be backup in the sense of if he felt that PETA was leading you down a wrong path intentionally, he could be kind of a checks and balances of giving you guys a heads up of potential betrayal or treachery. You guys decide to camp a little bit before the first marker, which was a large plateau hinted at as the shoulders of the grandfather. You decide to camp there, and dawn is only a few hours away when you were ambushed by a group of maybe bandits, maybe lawmen looking for bounties, and thought it was rather suspicious that in the middle of December in winter, none of y'all were lighting any kind of campfire, doing anything to try and keep warm. Kind of looked like you were trying to avoid detection, which was suspicious enough for them to assume that you guys had something to hide, and thus were maybe a good target. As they all had guns trained on you all, one of them happened to recognize your group. And with a success, I can mouth words pretty. With a successful roll, you realize that it was an individual who you had known by the name of John Turner, who was one of the faux Spurs, a group of outlaws using your guys' reputation to help elicit fear in others that they were robbing, oftentimes leading to them being able to rob a group without ever having to actually fire a shot, just by your reputation. This individual being the one that seemed to be the fill-in for Wea, and he quickly recognized you guys, threw down his shotgun and was like, look, I don't want anything, and was halted in his retreat by Liam using dominate and telling him to stay put. And that is where we left off last time. Oh, I should also add, important note, Adele is not in your group, as you guys woke the night of your exodus to discover that she was missing, leaving behind only a note saying that she had to take care of issues from her past. But through the careful analysis of Wea, realizing that maybe leaving wasn't her choice and that she was kind of her hand was somewhat being forced, both literally and metaphorically. However, with the issue of the lupines quickly approaching your due date of when the war party is going to move out, you decide, as close and as important as it is to find what's happening to your dear comrade, it was going to have to wait till after you dealt with this. So, unless anyone has anything to add, let's go ahead and jump into tonight's episode of Tumbleweeds and Tombstones. I will need permission to share screen.
I believe it is already granted.
Huzzah.
Well, now, gentlemen, we seem to find ourselves in a bit of a precarious situation here. How may we help you? I do recognize our friend here. We've had some dealings with him in the past, and by that rather warm stream running down his right leg, I think he recognizes us too.
So before we get on to what they're all saying, point of clarification, where is everyone? I know that PETA, Henry, and Bartleby are all within the carriage. So can you guys see the screen here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So these three shapes here are the trunks of 3 trees. No leaves on them, as they are all not evergreens, but 2 larger trees here and here, and a smaller one here. The carriage is right here, and this is the rock outcropping that you guys kind of use to help hide yourselves from visual. This line represents right here is a much higher portion that's a little bit more sheer of a large spiky rock outcropping, and this being a lower portion that some of their members have climbed on top of to kind of look down and have a bead on you. It's about, I would say, 4 to 5 feet up from the ground level to here. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. This one right here on the top left being the individual who recognized you. And so where are all of you all currently?
Well,
I imagine in the middle of their surrounding stake
Yeah.
on us, stake out.
Okay, so let's see, we got Walter right about there.
I would have had to have been in eyesight of John Turner.
True, so we can put you over here.
Oh, let's put Atris close to the carriage. Let's say right hand side.
The map's right.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's keep it simple.
You forgot the word stupid.
Right about here-ish.
Sure.
Okay. Wea, what about you?
Well, I'm I'm probably close to the guy who recognized me.
I mean, he recognized all of you, but
Oh,
sure.
right. All right.
We can have you fight Liam.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm the one who started talking first, and then Liam walked in or started talking. So.
All right, and where's Sonoy?
I'd imagine Sonoy would be not out in the open somewhere, but he would be near the thing, though.
Near the what?
Because this is like right as we got up, right?
No, this is actually right before you guys had
right before we went to bed
to try and go to bed because dawn's in about 2 hours.
Okay, yeah, he'd be by the wagon.
Okay, where do you want him by the wagon?
Probably like right there.
Okay, not a problem. We have Atris. Noah, where would you be, my friend?
I know I was trying to threaten them last time we were here, so I would say probably next to the two guys on the right, a little bit forward of Atris.
Okay, so right about here-ish.
Yeah, right about there. That's a good spot.
Okay.
On up, have a seat.
All right, and for the purposes of this, the lupine and the two humans are in the carriage. You are unaware if they are awake or not.
I know Bartleby is asleep because I had just fed on him before this started.
Yep. And as Modius went out to scout the last time, so he is not in camp currently.
What blood for us?
All right, so now
How
we
lucky
have
for these guys.
now we have this arrangement. Walter, would you be facing any particular direction?
I'm going to locate my doppelganger.
He is actually not alive. Remember that
I didn't leave him living, did I?
no, the only two that survived were because one erupted into a vessel for the fear demon that Patrick made a pact with when using the skull gem.
And I think I killed my own doppelganger.
Yeah, I think each of you had fun taking out your own doppelganger. The only two that survived were Adele's doppelganger and Wea's doppelganger. And
oh my, okay.
And of course, Atris said no, we wouldn't have had doppelgangers because this would have been free. They're joining.
Right. This is all to the best of your knowledge. I mean, it depends on how much Noah's spy network of Nos has told him. But to the best of your knowledge, Noah wasn't there, so he wouldn't be aware of the situation.
Taking stock of where everyone is, if everyone else is kind of not facing south, I'm gonna face that guy to the south.
Cool. All right. Now that we've got
and squint.
Yeah. Now that we've got placement in order, and remember that each of these squares is about like a 5-foot distance. Liam, you make that comment about how they can help you and the pizzle running down Mr. Turner's leg. And this guy right here, the one that seems to actually be squaring off with Walter, and has another actually no, not shotgun, 2 pistols leveled at each of at you guys. One of them kind of aiming at Walter, the other one kind of aiming at Liam's back. Goes, like I said, friend, all of you camped out here in the dark, not a fire to warm a single one of you. Mighty suspicious, if I do have to say so myself, and I'd be very interested about what the sheriff would have to say about that.
We are interested, and we are suspicious. In fact, Walter opens his hands out wide as he says this, and takes one step toward him and stops and smiles at him.
Now, friend, if you like your head right where it's placed, I wouldn't take another step forward. But I do appreciate you keeping those hands where I can see them.
My
May
friend, trust
I-
me, any damage you do to his face would only make it nicer.
Speaking of which,
I spit toward Liam.
okay, spend a blood for spit.
Oh shit. I make the spitting sound
Oh.
at Liam.
You awkwardly sit there and go, "Pih."
I do it in a manly fashion, I'll have you know.
Okay.
Unless a roll decides that, I don't.
No, I'm not gonna make you roll for pantomiming spit.
That's a performance roll right there.
Right. But Liam, you notice that the command has been followed. He stopped. As far as Mr. Turn goes. And he just has to go, fellas, let's leave these nice folks alone. We don't need to be bothering them none. And I think we can just call this a mistake. I'm sure they're just minding their own business, and we all do the same. And this one right here goes, what's got into you?
Oh, well. Now, besides your fearless leader out there up on the ridge, seems to be about 6 of y'all. Looks like we might be a little bit even-handed here. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna have me a chat with Mr. Turner up here. Y'all can have some fun on your own. I think me and him have unfinished business. And I'm gonna like very visibly like holster my gun. Just start walking towards John.
As you start walking towards John, this guy right here fires a shot right on the ground in front of you.
Unfazed, keep walking.
Which one? Left guy?
This one.
Ooh, okay.
This one who's been doing most of the talking, who actually seems to be the head of the group.
Oh, okay.
Sits there and goes, now on y'all, you stay right where you are, or this is gonna get ugly. Liam, do you stop or you keep walking?
It's the one who shot that said something, right?
Nope. This
Oh,
one
like-
is the one. This one right here is the one that shot because it was crossing this path as you like were walking forward. This one is the one that gave the warning.
Keep walking. Not even gonna turn to him.
Okay.
I'd like to size up this guy's current attention and aim with his two pistols he's holding out. Like, how capable does Walter think this guy is of, let's say, hitting a headshot right now on one of us?
I will most certainly let you do that after we roll for initiative, because the warning was given and it was not followed.
Yeah,
So,
like we weren't gonna kill him anyways.
I mean, all right. With the way Walter's initiative rolls are, I'm gonna do the same thing either way.
so everyone do me a favor and post your initiative in the chat so that way I can
That's right.
go
No,
from there.
God, this character is silly. That's a 19.
I had to roll 2 better than you to still get under your
Oh, wait.
initiative.
I forgot the wits.
Ignore Wea's thing. Now pay attention to Wea's thing.
It is
Or
irrelevant.
the waste thing.
Okay, so that's Liam, Atris, Wea, Walter. Is the second Wea for Sonoy?
No, the second Wea is the actual Wea,
Okay.
Ignore the first Wea completely.
and I will roll for Sonoy.
Everyone knows that the first Wea is a lie.
Yeah.
The second Wea is the one that chose to be an owl correctly.
Right.
Sean, out of curiosity, is there a way to make the map bigger?
Bigger?
Get rid of the top portion.
Oh, if you tap, if you use your browser's full screen option, which is usually F11, but on Google, the hotkey might be weird. F11 might do it.
It just gets rid of the top bar, all the search bars.
Oh, or that too, yeah.
Yeah, that works.
And then you leave it for a second and it all pops up.
There we go. Is that better?
Yep, more visible.
Okay. So by this reckoning, let's see who goes first. So first, big
there's
shot.
about to be a reckoning.
So first it's Walter. Let's see, 15. So
I think Waya, because I rolled less than Waya did.
Yeah, my dice was higher than Atris.
yeah,
I should have a human that rolled higher.
Leia, Atris.
Yeah.
Yes. I think Noah next. Yeah, Noah. And then I think it is
Human 1, human 2. Like how many humans?
Minus 13, but I got lower dice than the bounty hunters.
Yeah.
The bounty hunters right before
so
me.
the hunters, Liam, and then I think Sonoy.
Oh, of course not.
I remember when he was out doing all y'all in the initiative when the game first started.
Yeah. And then everyone got celerity.
Yep. Okay, so Walter, you're up first. If you want to take an action to sit there and analyze this guy, you can definitely do so.
Yeah, let's analyze this right away. We'll get right up in there.
I burn celerity,
Okay.
deciding whether it's 1 or 2. Let's just burn a few. Let's burn 2 celerity.
Okay.
Marked off.
So that means that you get 3
The
actions,
last
essentially.
the last thing that he said to us was to warn Liam not to take a further step or else things could get ugly.
Correct.
I don't know if you heard him, friend. Things are already ugly.
Oh,
I'm gonna
so
dread
good.
gaze him.
Okay.
Oh.
And
I think
I'm
this is
gonna
the first
bare
time
my
Walter's done this.
fangs.
It's the Walter changeup.
It is the first dread gaze of Walter's existence.
All right. What's the roll for that?
I roll charisma intimidation versus his wits plus courage.
All
Or
right.
sorry. It's not versus. The difficulty of my roll is his wits plus courage.
All right.
Courage.
The difficulty is standard 6.
Oh, okay. Let's do that.
Again, they're human. I mean, he's pretty cocky and pretty sure of himself, but
He is the leader.
yeah.
So I was hoping for a lower number, but he is the leader.
Yes.
Not surprised. Ooh, that's a lot of successes. Total of 4.
Yeah.
Wait, I lied. It's total of 5. Total of 5.
Okay.
Tell us through your sushi.
Yes. Best way to roleplay anything. He drops both of his. Actually, wait. I need to see for Dread Gaze if can he run or is he just paralyzed in fear?
We've
It
had
says
this
he
happen
just
before.
runs. Wait, what?
Yeah.
I
We've-
mean, there's probably
we've-
more to it.
Well, we've had this question before of whether or not they can run on your turn or they have to wait for their turn to actually.
Oh,
do
it would
so.
have to be on their turn. Like it's still.
Huh.
This is still all happening in the matter of like seconds.
Right.
So they don't get to take an action. This isn't the same as like D&D rules where like you can take a reaction to it kind of thing. But
Right.
so it's just a matter of if he survives his turn. I am interested on whether he would just crawl, fumble into a mess or actually be able to.
Yeah, 3+
There is
means
more
they run
to
away
it.
in abject fear.
Okay.
But also, every success subtracts 1 from the target's action dice pools. And what is important about that is once he loses enough dice that he cannot perform any action, he's so shaken and terrified that he curls up on the ground and weeps. End quote. Oh boy, I didn't actually know. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's not on my sheet for Dread Gaze, so I would have to go to the page because I didn't know that.
Let's see.
195.
Yep.
Is the page. Should you care to?
Oh, you know, I'm there now because I'm like, hey, there's more here.
Should you care to gaze longingly?
It's 1 from target's action dice pool next. Yeah. So I assume that means as far as action dice pool, just it subtracts a die from like anything they can try to do, as in.
That's what I got.
Yeah, it's not like it's subtracting an action because most people who don't have celerity have 1 action per. Okay. So you got 1 success. Anything above that, you said it was 5 successes. So that's subtracting 4 from their successes. Now, I will say the reason that Dread Gaze isn't used as commonly in a lot of vampires, at least if they're concerned about the masquerade. So you guys, most of you aren't really looking at Walter, but you hear him say this, and then the fangs drop. Your eyes kind of glow red for a second as you just and like hiss at the guy for a second. Really kind of showing your true face for a moment, this very primal apex predator thing. And the guy's face just goes almost as white as you guys are. And even in the dark from this distance, he's sitting there just in abject fear. You still have 2 more actions. What would you like to do?
Does he still drop his guns?
I'd say it's a free action to do that. So yeah, he does.
I feel slightly less threatened all of a sudden. So he's gonna have some visual reaction to me. I'm gonna pull my fangs back into my face before I turn my head. I'm gonna check left and right real quick and just see if these dudes are looking. The far west dude that already took a shot at the ground, specifically, I just want to notice if he's noticing.
Okay,
if he's
so
looking at us.
You want to take an action to kind of like analyze what he's doing?
If it takes an action, I mean.
Well, I mean, how much are you trying? Like, if you're just trying to glance, he's still there holding his gun, kind of thing. If you want to glean more than that, as far as like his emotional state or anything else,
I just want to see if he's looking.
I mean,
me or
he
us.
seems to be kind of his. It's hard to see again in the dark.
Okay.
Because you're a good 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet from the guy. But his body posture still seems to be. I'll let you do this without an action. Give me a perception plus alertness roll.
Okay. Let's do it. Did I actually roll well enough to get it? I probably did. Well, 6. I'm on fire. I hope it keeps up.
Well, careful what you wish for.
I hope they didn't bring fire.
I mean, some of them do have looks like little small oil lanterns, so that way they can see what the fuck they're doing, as they also do not have dark vision.
How convenient.
Mm-hmm.
But His body posture, from a quick glance, seems to be he is still determined, but his head is kind of glancing back and forth between glancing at his leader, glancing at his comrade, both of whom are now freaking the fuck out, and this group right here just keeping an eye on, especially Liam, who has now made aggressive stances in his mind of moving forward.
They haven't been aggressive. They've been calm and delicate. I take pride in my stride.
Yeah, so I'll say from without spending an action, that's what you glean is he's still resolute but confused. Because all he did was hear you hiss like a cat and didn't see what the cause or reasoning was.
Right on. Right on. All right, just was all right, thank you. All right. In that case, I'm actually going to run off to the east. That southeast guy that's just kind of there.
This one?
Between the two trees, yeah. I'm just going to rush up to him. I have 9 squares of movement, which I think is exactly him.
Yeah, you can do it in 7.
Hell yeah. Well, in that case, I'm going to get south of him and grapple him as my second action.
Okay, so 8, 9. Yeah, I'll let you do that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Contested strength roll. This is going to be sad. Okay. Okay.
I do strength brawl, right?
You do strength brawl. They do dex athletics to try and dodge it.
All right. Well, I've rolled some ones in my life, so we'll see. Not my best roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 total.
Yeah, he got 1 success.
Well.
It would have been 3, but he rolled 2 1s. So he got 1, and you get up behind him, and like, what are you doing? Are you doing like a full Nelson kind of thing?
What I'm specifically trying to do is actually pretty intricate. I want to zip behind this guy with my celerity, grab his gun arm wrist, and kind of do this arm drag thing to get wrapped around his neck. I want to grab his pistol hand with mine while holding my arm around his neck from behind and point him at his 3 friends up there. So I have 2 actions, and if it takes a second action to kind of maneuver him this way, that makes sense to me too. That's my goal. I want to do that.
Okay.
He wants to grab him and he wants to point him.
Yeah, I'll say for the point, that's going to be for this one, I'll say it's going to be your third action. It's going to be a contested strength roll to try and he's already grappled. So what you guys kind of see out of the corner of your eye is you hear Walter say what he says. He hisses. The body posture of the leader completely changes. And then not quite the flash. It's not quite, you don't quite have that level of celerity yet, but still a little bit faster than would be normal for non-supernatural creatures. Walter shifts around this oak tree here, gets behind the guy, gets one arm around his neck. Now this guy's holding 1 lantern and a pistol. You get around his neck, grab his wrist. He starts struggling and everything else and kind of taken aback by Walter's speed and agility. Go ahead and make a contested strength roll to see if you can accurately point him. I am going to say it's going to be difficulty 7, not because he's on the same level of a vampire, but it's also one of those things of, I forget, do you have potence?
I sure do.
Okay, so there's a little bit of superhuman strength, but it's more of accurately trying to aim him while he's not sitting there. This isn't
the main thing I'm trying to do is control him. I don't care to aim his pistol so much as gain full control over his arms. Okay. Essentially disarming him, but I haven't dropped his gun.
Yeah, I would say it's one of those things of his hand is still on his gun, but your hand is on his wrist kind of thing.
That's my goal. Man, ones, but don't fail me now, Chad die.
There you go.
The
There you
Chad
go.
die rolled a 1.
Oh,
Oh,
I
Yeah, one more.
got
The Chad giveth and the Chad taketh away.
that's right.
4, 5. I got 3.
I mean, that's enough. I mean, again, these are normal humans. These aren't even like, these guys just thought you were randos. Like, these are not trained vampire hunters or by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, you've got a pretty good control of his wrist. I mean, each round it's going to be, I'd say at the end of, at the beginning of his turn, he's going to try and break out of it, but you can move him around in the meantime.
So, all right, I tell this dude that things are already ugly. I hiss and growl. I zip over to this dude, wing him around, and clamp down on his hands, and call out to his friends up there. I think y'all need to re-reckon who's in control of the situation here.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a
what kind of dice are that?
Your oof dice. Well, if you don't know by now, you know. I'm
We've had
go ahead
plenty
and
of
roll-
oof dice this
Go
game.
ahead and roll manipulation
Okay.
plus intimidation.
I will
You
do
can find
that.
oof on important rolls page.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
There
I
you
type
go.
these things up for you guys for a reason. Okay. Like,
Very important. It's right next to the
3.
eat rule.
3. Okay. Okay. We'll see how it affects them on their turn, but you feel you made your point known. Okay, that's Walter. Wea, you're up.
All right.
When last we played, you had your hands up.
Yeah, my hands are up, not touching anything. Hearing Walter say that and then there not being a gunshot, I would assume he's trying to subdue the group rather than just like bloodbath them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spend a blood point first off. Actually, wait, no. Yes, I'm gonna spend a blood point for celerity.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
You have your movement and 2 actions.
I'm gonna move to the guy on my left here, and I'm kind of gonna move behind him.
Okay, easy enough to do.
I'm gonna grapple him and
Okay.
like kind of grapple him in a way where my arm goes around him, around his neck, but still kind of. He does he have 1 gun or 2 guns? Actually, is better.
This is a guy with a rifle. So.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna try to wrap one arm around his neck while like kind of pointing the gun up, and then I'm gonna attempt to grapple him.
Okay, so kind of a similar move to what Walter just did.
Yeah, a little bit more simple. Not
right,
as intricate for
go
sure.
ahead and make your normal grapple roll. So that I think that's your dex brawl versus his dex athletics, if I remember correctly.
Okay, for sure.
Strength brawl?
Strength brawl, yeah.
2 successes.
Well, he got a success and a 1, so he got none successes. So and this guy's kind of like you notice that he's kind of an older guy, like probably in his like 40s. He balding hair with long stringy brown hair, very Walter Frey, you know, Mr. Filch looking like guy. 5 o'clock shadow on him, kind of more of a skinny
I was gonna say, when I grapple him, can I get a feel for like how athletic this guy is and type and like certain build? Is he like pretty thin and like weak and frail, or is he like pretty stocky?
Is he white?
Can I deduce that while grappling someone?
I mean, he's relatively.
Oh, I can't hear you for some reason. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to say the same thing that I said to Walter, which is you get the idea that he's pretty skinny. Like when you grab his wrist to lift the rifle up, it's a pretty thin wrist. But as far as you wanting to ascertain his physique and his everything else, that would be a turn to kind of like really spend the time. Because again, you guys have to remember what's happening in the matter of seconds.
Yeah.
So if you're going to sit there and analyze someone, that takes time to do it.
Okay. So while I have him grappled, I'm going to spend my celerity action to reach around with my foot and kind of kick his legs from under him, and
Okay.
while grappling him, take him to the ground and pin him.
Ooh.
Keep the leg, Johnny.
All right. I'm gonna say that's going to be a. Go ahead and make a dex brawl. I'll say because you are successfully grappling him, it's going to lower the difficulty to 5.
Cool.
And he can't really dodge because he's grappled, but he's going to do a strength roll to try and not fall. And well, let's see. No.
3 successes.
0 successes for him. Once again, a success and a 1. So yeah, you kick his ankle out, and he goes out, and you kind of like ride him down into the dirt.
Yeah. I want to just take him down and still like have grapple control of his arms.
Okay, but now I need to do this.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm using the Chad die.
What's happening?
High or low?
We high rollers, so we're going high.
Okay, well that was a 1.
No! Betrayed. What happens?
He falls and the gun goes off.
What?
You're in the line of fire here. So
You have any idea how much fortitude I have? Shoot me.
all right, so let's see. This is a rifle shot. Well, let's even see if it hits.
As I'm just gliding through the snow.
I mean, you can choose if you want to try and like, you can't really dodge bullets, but if you can hear it and like try and make a jump into the snow if you care.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then he hits you.
Are you talking?
Oh god, they were vampire hunters. Ag damage. No.
That's all we need.
1, 2, 3.
Are any of them wearing all black? Don't answer that.
Most of them. Okay, so that's 3 bashing damage. It's already been halved.
Well, here goes my 8 dice. 7, 8, 7, 7, 7, 6, 1. Yeah, I'm fine.
Just put a scratch.
It hits you in the thigh, and you're just like, once again, your pants. It's like you need to find a way to get fortitude to your clothing, but
Just a steel lining. Just it's fine.
yeah, you look just more annoyed more than anything else. At which, okay, that's that. Okay, so that is Wea's turn.
Can I just say something real fast?
Sure.
After the gun goes off, I will tell, I'll say, Sonoy, watch the east side. That give him kind of like reassurance of where I want him to go.
Okay. All right. Atris, you're up.
All right. Before anything, how high is the outcropping ahead of us? Me and Noah.
At eyesight, you're looking at about like 4.5, 5 feet.
Oh, it's not even that high. All right. She is going to use Vanish to them, or first before she does, she's gonna glance over to Noah and say, oh, "If you get the right, I'll get the left." And then she's going to use Vanish to the Mind's Eye to disappear in front of her combatants.
Okay.
Would I be able to reply on his turn?
Briefly.
You get yourself and the dog, I'll get everyone else.
All right.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 reroll. 7 successes.
Okay, and isn't the what's the difficulty based off of on it?
It is highest total wits plus alertness rating of the whole group.
Okay, I need there to be two different things. So for them, I'm gonna it's their highest what?
It's the highest total wits plus alertness rating within the group of targets.
Okay, wits plus alertness, the highest one is going to be 6, which is this guy right here. So it's going to be standard difficulty. What's the highest one of let's see, I'm trying to think who's Noah, what's your wits alertness?
Mm-hmm.
Seven.
7. Okay. So Atris, how many successes is it with difficulty 6, and how many is it with difficulty 7?
My rolls or my roll.
Yeah.
Difficulty 6, it would have been 6. Difficulty 7. Sorry, difficulty 6 it would have been 7. Difficulty numbers hard. Difficulty 6 it would have been 7 successes. Difficulty 7 would have been 6 successes.
Okay, so the exact flip of each other. Okay. What's your willpower rating, Noah?
I'm at a 7.
Okay, so you remember that Atris was there. I will say that all of them, though, completely forget that Atris was even there in the first place, as you kind of notice them turn their attention like the one that was kind of aiming at you just kind of blinks for a second and then like shifts the gun over to Noah, as now there's one less target there.
As impressive as that roll was, my act, if she can still have a movement, she will like to get up behind the target in front of her.
Go ahead and make a Dex Athletics just to try and. It's not going to be a high difficulty. It's only going to be standard, but it's just to get
like
up.
balance.
Yeah, don't you have a feat or something? Or
it lowers it by 2. Balance-based rolls are minus 2 to the difficulty.
Okay, I'd say this is less balanced because it's more of just you climbing, so it's just the athleticism to get up and over and behind them. So just standard difficulty, though.
I got 11 dice to roll anyway.
This is kind of your bread and butter. This is what you do.
5, 6. 1, 1. So that away 2 rerolls. That's 7, 8, 9 successes.
You almost kind of wish that people could see you because the amount of grace and elegance. While I forget, are you in pants or a dress at this venture?
Oh, always pants.
Always pants. Just there's this moment of your feet almost instinctively, even though you've never been here, find the grooves of where to be and push off, and you go and land. And I'll say with that roll, I'll say with that many successes, if it was lower, I was going to make you make a stealth roll just to make sure you didn't land on some rocks or something that would have popped you out of obfuscate. But I'll say with that many successes, you're able to land in such a way that you don't shift the stones or the snow or anything that would alert you in any kind of way.
Okay, and I think that's all I can do. I didn't spend any books, Larry.
Correct. So that's your movement and action. So you're done. All right, Noah, you're up.
All right. I am going to run behind the most eastern guy. And I'm going to take a look back at
this.
Yeah.
So this one. All right.
Yeah.
What's your movement speed? How many feet?
Give me a second. I don't see that. Hang on a second. Where is that one?
I think it was a post that I made a while ago of how you calculate that, and just told you all to make a note somewhere on your character sheet.
What is it?
Oops, I was muted. It's Dex plus stamina plus athletics. Take that number times 3.
And then isn't divide it by something so that we know how many
Yeah.
squares?
Divide by 5.
The squares is divided by 5.
So yeah, Dex, athletics, stamina times 3.
So 33 divided by 5 would be 6 squares.
Okay, so you can move 6 squares. So I'd say notate that of unless you are boosting something with like adding blood to dexterity or something like that. You can move 6 squares in a motion. If you decide to take the dash action, you can move 12 squares. 6 would get you either on his, you can either get right up in his face or get to his left or right.
I'll get to his left.
Okay.
I want to look back at our group.
Okay.
And I want to cast Vanish from the Mind's Eye with Cloak the Gathering.
That would be 2 different Vanish isn't, hold on, let's see. Oh,
So
you want,
Cloak the Gathering
you
says
got
that
it,
I
got
can
it.
choose an option state power, and Vanish from the Mind's Eye says it's a roll of Charisma plus Stealth at the difficulty of.
Yeah, difficulty is wits plus. Sorry, I literally just had this out because I just used this
wits
power.
plus alertness of the
Alertness with
highest target.
Yeah, so let's see. You have how many dots of stealth?
5.
So, yeah.
Bastard.
Yeah, so yeah, you can catch everyone that's here. Okay, let's see. Everyone under. Yeah, okay. So go ahead. It's going to be based on whether or not it's going to be based on your stats on whether or not everyone else disappears from everyone.
Yes. Or if they go ghost-like.
Well, and he doesn't have to cover Atris because she's already vanished.
What is the difficulty though?
It's, let's see. So for Vanish on the Mind's Eye, it's against the person's wit split. So the highest difficulty of the group is 6. So the 6 is the target number.
All right, I got 4.
Okay.
My reroll was a 1, so that canceled out my 10. Yeah, I got 4.
Okay. Noah, give me a perception plus alertness roll, please.
Mm-hmm. And that's visual, right?
This is visual. Yes. So how many successes?
I'm sorry, what was the difficulty? I didn't hear you.
6.
6.
Okay, yeah. That's 5 successes.
Okay. You look around and you see yourself, Atris, Sonoy, and Liam kind of turn into the shavy, wavering, almost like seeing heat waves on a hot road, like the Predator thing, where they're invisible, but like you can tell that they're there, kind of thing. However, you look and Wea is still visible on top of the one guy. Walter is still visible behind the other guy. And logic dictates that that interaction breaks obfuscate. So unfortunately, the ability doesn't work on the 2 of them. I'll say with your number of successes though, however, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm not touching the guy next to me.
Right. So I would say actually, these 3 look very confused all of a sudden. The ones up on the ridge. This guy is not confused because he's currently struggling with Wea. This guy is currently struggling with Walter. And this guy whose dread gaze was cast by Walter is still, and since Walter is still visible and he remembers Walter exists, still looks petrified in fear and about ready to bolt. However, these all the ones on the ledge and the one that you're standing next to look kind of confused for a second, of almost forgetting why they were where they were, and kind of looking around, and then you see them kind of like these ones shift to looking at Walter, and this one is still shifts from looking at Liam to looking at Wea and the other companion of his that are struggling together. So you get the idea that it has worked to some degree of them forgetting about at least some of you. Okay. That was Noah's turn. It is now the hunter's turn.
They're very confused turn.
Seriously.
This guy, having forgotten that Liam is, ooh, that's interesting point.
Yeah.
If he forgets, he forgot you were there, so he forgot the command too. So he's turning and bolting. I have a man for himself, and he just starts bolting for it as he starts heading the other direction.
I salute you, coward.
This one, who's in dread fear, let's see, that's 4. He's got 1 die to roll because of Walter, and that's a 2. So he goes to try and turn and flee and trips on a tree root and stumbles and falls into the snow.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Can we know which one looks like Wea? If he does,
well, I mean,
like
he
him?
doesn't look like Wea, but because I'll say, Noah, you don't know about the whole like faux spur or anything. All you see is a large individual about like 6'4", muscular in frame, like the shirt and coat he's wearing are actually pretty tight on his chest and arms. And he has a very, you get the idea that he's probably African-American based on how dark his skin is. And he's the one that's bolting this way. These two are going to pitifully try to make a struggle. So Walter and Wea each give me a strength roll, please.
We're on it.
2.
Yeah, you're fine. He got no successes against you.
I'm gonna spend a willpower actually on this.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the willpower makes it 6.
6 successes on the strength roll. Okay, I'm going to roll 2 dice here. For the first one, I need you to tell me high or low, please.
I have a coin. You know what? I'm not gonna flip a coin for this. I have friends in low places. Low.
Okay. The gun does not go off. High or low on the second one?
Also me or yeah?
Also you.
Oh, it's still low.
Okay. Okay, then that's it. He just does not struggle out of your grasp. He tries pitifully and nothing happens. These two, this one moves slightly around the tree to get a better angle at you. These two are moving up to the ledge. This one thinks he's got a pretty good aim, so he's going to go ahead and try and take his shot.
Ooh.
And I will say, since you are grappled, you don't get to try and dodge this unless you want to drop the grapple.
I'm pretty sure I can't even dodge if I'm not grappled. Am I allowed to see him walk up and go, "You think I'm scared of your bullets"? Am I allowed to say that? Can I say that?
I'll say sure.
Ooh, excellent.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's 2 successes. So let's see, that's going to be okay, so that's 2 bashing. You can try and soak it.
I soaked the fuck out of it. Like
Hits
3
you
times
right,
over.
hits you right in the ribs, and the bullet just kind of bounces off. And he's looking very confused. Like the confusion continues. Not enough where he's like scared because who knows, maybe you guys are wearing some kind of protection underneath or you know, whatever. These two, they're looking frustrated and they're like, God, but they're gonna hold their action for when they think there's a clearer shot to try and shoot you. All right.
I mock spit at this shooter's direction.
You do so.
I look spit in your general direction.
Liam, it is your turn. I need you first to make a wits plus perception roll, please. Standard deck.
Okay, so 3.
You look down at yourself and you can see through to the ground. You understand that someone did something and turned you invisible. Now you also are, I will say with that roll, you are aware that you can break it without breaking everyone else's if you so choose. Especially if you want to dominate anything because you know they have to make eye contact with you.
Not for everything.
True. But you are at least aware that you are currently obfuscated.
So I'm just gonna look at myself like, fine. And I'm just gonna summon John Turner to myself instead.
Okay.
Because not only have I met him before, the last time that we met, I actually used Mesmerize and changed some of his memories. So I've already used mental abilities on him.
Okay. Yeah, this is very true. I will say that the ease of doing that is going to balance out with the fact that this is going against his survival instinct and potentially putting himself in mortal danger, at least as he is interpreting this. So let me just read for a second.
Summoning is one of the few ones that doesn't have a condition that talks about their safety.
Let me just check something real quick.
I have a feeling this is like trying to fight.
It does say while still looking after their own needs.
Why summon a friend when you can summon a foe? Call Liam today to learn more.
It always works.
Because this is presence, correct?
It is.
So it's not quite dominate. Just see something real quick. I need the wording is going to be very specific on this.
Because the wording says they will come to you while still taking care of their own needs.
Right. Let's see. It does say here overall.
Hold on 1 second. I got a cat on top of things. It's gonna topple shit.
Okay.
Emergency.
No.
Is that is that a whole barbell? Has Liam been replaced by a barbell?
Yes.
Sorry. I had
Are you
cats
playing
on-
from a gym right now? Is that a barbell behind you?
There's a fan.
I choose to believe that you live in a gym now.
I will say that on page 193, as the overall description of the presence discipline, it does say suicidal or ridiculous directives don't sound any more sensible just because the person giving them is unusually fascinating. So what I will say is, because you've used it on him before, because I think it says that it lowers the difficulty. If you base difficulty is 5, this is increase of 7 if subjects are met only briefly. So the difficulty is only 5 normally. If you've used it on the person in the past, it drops it to 4. I'm going to say I'm going to allow it, but it's going to be difficulty 7, just because you're basically asking this guy to put himself in harm's way.
Between my charisma and subterfuge, I got 8 dice. Let's see where this goes. Well, I got a 9, 2 10s, and a 7. But I also have a 1, so I got to reroll the 10s. So give me 1 moment.
Yes. Oh, dice math.
Okay, so I am at 3 successes.
Okay. The person approaches with reasonable speed. Well, it's not very reasonable for him to be doing this, but he stops in his tracks and kind of turns around, and for an unknown reason, as he has forgotten that you are there, is drawn to coming a little bit close, and I'll say he's.
And I'm just going to keep walking forward to kind of meet him halfway anyway, since I haven't moved yet.
What's your movement?
My movement is 6.
1, 2, 3. Go ahead and give me a Dex Athletics roll.
Just 1.
Okay. I'll say it takes you a little bit. Go ahead and make a Dex stealth roll real quick. Not quite as nimble as Atris.
My dex is, or my stealth is better than my athletics. Six.
6. Okay. You don't cause any snow or rocks to fall by. I will say you stop, you get up over it, but that stops your progress right there for your turn. And he does not see you. He is kind of looking slightly past you as he's trying to see why he's going some way. Okay, that's their turn and Liam's turn. It is now Sonoy's turn.
Okay. Sonoy, hearing what I told him, is gonna run to the east. Let me count his squares real fast because I should have done that earlier, but I didn't.
Oh, run to the east. Let me count the squares.
11, 6 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can he get to the double group where Atris is at?
So you said he has 8 squares.
6 squares.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you want him to get up here.
Yes, Dex Stem Athletics. I just want to double check.
Okay, so what's his Dex athletic? Go ahead and make a Dex Athletics roll for Sonoy. And I will say this is going to be difficulty 7, just because he's got pause, not like posable digits.
It said
He's
Dex
not a mountain goat?
Athletics.
Yes, Dex Athletics difficulty 7. It is a snowy rock face, and he doesn't have fingers to grab onto things.
He will use his blood ability to buff its dexterity by 1.
Okay.
Four successes.
Okay. Fair enough. He's able to get his way up there. And I'll say 3 is the cap for not having to make a stealth roll. So he is still obfuscated. He is now up here.
Excellent. That is all of his movement, unfortunately.
Yep. And you said you used the double move, his action to also move, correct?
I just said move and get him up there. I didn't, unless that takes my action.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd say because 6 gets him right here. If you want to stop, because he was over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll say he can get up here. He now has an action. So
okay, cool. Can he I'm gonna have what is Atris doing right now? What can Sonoy see that Atris is doing?
Go ahead and make a hold up.
Or is she obfuscated?
She is obfuscated.
Then never mind. Don't worry about it. Sonoy's just gonna take this dude down and try to knock him off the wall with his attack.
Okay, so he's gonna get like behind him and pounce him from behind, kind of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is he going for a bite attack or is he going for a tackle attack? Because those are 2 different things.
He's gonna go for a bite attack.
Okay. Go ahead and roll his bite. This guy gets no dodge because he doesn't realize Sonoy is there.
Oh yeah, and he beefed his dex. 2 successes.
Okay. Go ahead and roll damage plus 1.
Zero damage. Or 1. It was a 6 and a 0.
A 6 and a 0 is in a 0, 10.
6 and a 1. I'm sorry.
Got it. Okay, so they cancel each other out. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. So Sonoy goes and jumps, breaks the obfuscate, is on top of this, bites, but gets a whole lot of, they're wearing leather like dusters to try and keep warm a bit, and he's getting a whole bunch of material. They didn't seem to penetrate down into where the skin was. However, he is biting the guy, and both of them are like, what the fuck? God, because this wolf just apparated out of nowhere kind of thing.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Yes. So, surprise wolf. And they are very taken aback by what the hell just happened. All right. That is Sonoy's turn. Top of the round is Walter. Now, here's another thing all the vampires, go ahead and give me a a straight wits roll.
And what about all the single ladies?
Put your hands up.
Nope. Wyatt doesn't discern shit. He's
Okay.
busy.
Okay. 2 successes, 1 successes.
Need to re-roll that. That is 4 2s. I have 2 successes.
Okay. Everyone except for Wea. Even in the heat of this, you are keeping in mind, if you guys are planning to use these guys as a blood bank moving forward, if you kill them, especially if you're stabbing, biting, shooting, anything like that, their blood is going to be spilling out onto the ground. And it's basically trying to drink a Capri Sun that's leaking onto the floor kind of thing. So
Have
it's
to blow into it so it all comes rushing out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
one of those things of, as of yet, you other than I think Liam, you still have, I forget if you said you brought it with you on this trip, but you still have that vial that you got from the enchanted vial that holds things, basically preserves things.
Oh, you mean the blood decanter?
Yes,
No, that's at home with that Virgin Mary blood that's bad for vampires.
that's right. You use it on the Virgin
Yeah,
Mary
that's
blood. And
that's
then,
a that's a weapon right there.
Yeah. So as of yet, you guys haven't found anyone to enchant anything for you that can be basically a blood pack kind of thing. So you're all very aware of, if you kill them, it'll be hard to use them for later. But that's just that you're all aware, whatever you guys choose to do, but except for Wea, you're not aware, you're not thinking about this right now. You're just,
I don't give a fuck.
You're in the heat of the moment. So with that, Walter, you are up.
Reckon you didn't understand me. You're not the one in control. I'm staring at the guy who shot me. When
Okay.
do I need to? I'm continuing this grapple. Is it his turn that he tries to contest it?
Correct. It's on his turn that he gets, unless you choose to drop the grapple, you don't have to make another roll. It's simply, you only have to make another roll if you want to damage him while he's there's the whole like basically squishing to do damage kind of thing. But beyond that, to just hold the grapple, it's on his turn that if he tries to wiggle free, it's the contested strength roll.
I'm going to say that to my assailant.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to squish this guy's hand bones around his gun.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty sure I put it in the
in an intimidating manner.
Well, of course, I think squishing bones is usually rather intimidating. Okay, so for let's see, hold. Yeah, I think this is going to be a straight. I know it's one of the.
Oh, this is a weird thing, isn't it? I see what you mean.
I mean, I fully dislocated someone's shoulders while I had them in a full Nelson once.
Doing an
That was
actual
just
like
strength.
I think
well,
I think this is under clinch, if I remember correctly.
that would make sense.
On 276.
Yeah, I should follow what we've figured out here.
On a successful attack roll, the attacker goes into a clinch with the target on the first turn. Blah 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 blah.
Oh,
No,
that's like when we're in equal footing. But it's kind of the same idea, though.
Mm-hmm.
Strength brawl. No.
Yeah, I'll basically
Maybe?
say, yeah, I'll say you can just make a strength brawl and he can't dodge it. It's one of those things until he breaks 3. Actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna make you do strength brawl. I'll just say go ahead and roll your strength as damage.
I am not going to point his pistol at any of these guys, for the record.
Okay.
It's pointed at nothing.
Okay.
That's important. Anyway, boop. Reroll. You know what, Chad Die, you've treated me so well. I'm gonna give you another chance. There's no way this can be a 1.
This last words.
It's a 10. All right, redeemed. Redeemed. Another roll here. Didn't amount to much. That's fine. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minus 1, 5.
Okay. You do 5 bashing damage. This guy does get to try and roll his stamina to see if he soaks anything. He soaks 2, so you do 3 bashing as you grab this guy's wrist and you feel something go pop. And he drops the gun. God damn my arm! Yeah, okay. Okay, that is your turn. Wea, it is your turn.
I'm gonna, while grappling this guy, I'm gonna use my fangs and attempt to make a bite attack and draw out blood.
Okay, that's
Ooh.
biting for blood, and I think that's on your important rolls.
Indeed.
Okay, so after a successful hold mover, which he did, yeah, at this one, I don't think you even, it's not even a roll, it's just you bite him and you, sorry, Dex plus brawl.
Yeah, Dex brawl, normal difficulty.
Don't botch.
Five successes.
Easily, you sink your fangs into this guy's shoulder. How much blood? You can take up to 3 per round. How much blood are you taking?
I'm gonna take 2 points so he knocks out.
He gives a little bit of a pleasant shiver and then just passes out face down in the snow.
So that's gonna overfill my blood pool by 1. So I'm gonna use that to increase my dexterity.
Okay, so you feel this surge of blood going through you and there's nowhere for it to go. So instinctively you will it to pump into your limbs, your arms, your legs. It fills the muscles and you just feel like you're a little bit quicker. You're able to see things a little bit fast. You know, things are a little bit more slow motion for you where you can like analyze things better.
So that'll bump my movement to 45, which allows me to get 9 squares.
Yes.
And the guy to the south is running away.
Yes.
I'm gonna move my full movement towards him.
Okay. Are you gonna try and cut him off?
Yeah, I'm gonna cut him off.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Okay.
I'm gonna look at him and go, and I'm gonna say, you don't get to run from this one. And then that'll be my turn.
Okay. Give me a perception empathy roll real quick. Where?
Hey, I'm good at those.
Yeah.
It's perception based, 4 successes.
You get that he didn't even hear you or it didn't register because of the effects of dread gaze. This guy is in abject fear and is just running for the hills.
And then that'll be my turn, Alex.
Yes, that is your turn. Atris, you're up. You are obfuscated. Sonoy is trying to bite this one guy. This other guy's wondering how a freaking timber wolf snuck up on the two of them.
Ninja Wolf.
All right. Atreus is going to pump 1 to strength and spend 1 point for celerity. She is as soon as I and then she's gonna basically mirror what Wei is gonna do. Is she's gonna hold the guy and attempt to bite for blood.
Okay, So then go ahead and mark down the 2 blood. Go ahead and give me a strength plus athletics roll. Yeah, this guy. I mean, basically, don't botch like this guy just did.
I have first. I have 3 6s and 3 10s. So
Is that a success?
That I'll say that's a success. Yeah.
yeah, no more past that. I got an 8 and a 1, so I canceled out.
Okay. So with one action, you sit there and you grab onto the guy as he, like, people are popping out left and right, and this guy's just, what the hell's going on? As you bite down, how much blood you can take up to 3 dots. How much blood are you taking?
She's going to take 2.
Okay. You basically get back the 2 blood that you spent this round, and the guy goes limp in your arms.
Oh, how adorable.
All right. That was Atris's turn. And by the way, you are obviously not obfuscated at this point. Right now, the only ones who are obfuscated are Noah and Liam at this point. And speaking of Noah, you're up.
I think we're just gonna rinse and repeat. We're gonna go for a big old hug and kiss.
All right, for the guy right in front of you. Okay.
I thought you were gonna mass vanish from the mind's eye again. I was gonna be really.
Oh, I just got bit. Wait, what just happened?
Can't say I didn't consider it.
All right, strength athletics.
Yeah, I'll just pop up like just randomly, like boop, smack, boop, smack.
I mean, that is a doable fighting technique by those who have high enough obfuscate. Which is something to think about when you guys eventually face the Elder.
I'm just standing here, but damn, my head hurts.
6 X's on that.
Yeah, I'm not even going to bother. There's no way that he's going to get that high. You successfully grapple him. How much blood would you like to take?
3.
Okay. Not only does he pass out, but he is extremely pale. He's not looking too good. As you bite it, and he just color drains from him. How low were you on blood points?
I was at 12, but now I should be 15, so only 5 down.
Okay. So you, in other words, you had the space for them. So yeah, you take them. You're feeling
3/4.
The rush of life comes into you. Your cheeks flush a little bit. You're all sitting here having a mutual snack. I'm gonna go ahead and nope. There's still stuff going on. So Noah, that is your turn. It is the hunter's turn. Once again, this guy is going to struggling take a step forward for an unknown reason. This guy is going to try and book it. He picks himself up off the ground and starts running. And with only 1 die because of Walter's success, he gets only about that far.
I'm gonna whisper gently in my guy's ear. Where's your leader gone, huh?
And then the one that Sonoy was attacking, that one is still up and around, right?
Yeah, let's see if he's gonna try and. Let's see. So technically speaking, Sonoy's not in grapple with him because he just bit him. Correct.
Correct.
He tried to.
All right, he's gonna shoot Sonoy, or at least attempt to.
Sonoy is in.
If
point
he
blank
hits Sonoy,
range.
he's dying. So we'll see.
I will
Sonoy
say
is in point blank range.
exactly. So because Sonoy is in point blank range, he gets a dodge.
To be fair, my plan that I have discussed with no one requires at least 1 dead body.
I don't know what that means.
As the rolls go, it's not so much that Sonoy's dodging the bullet, it's that he can see which way the barrel is aiming and try and dodge out of the way of that. So go ahead and make a dodge action for Sonoy, please. I mean, unless he wants to take the bullet to the face.
6 successes.
And the pistol goes off and it hits the snow as Sonoy jumps to the right and growls and bares his fangs as this guy whiffs and just hits the ground in front of him. Okay, that is the hunter's turn. They're not doing well right now, but I didn't expect them to. Liam, it is your turn.
So I'm just going to kind of get a decent enough distance to John Turner, and I'm going to take myself out of obfuscate.
Okay.
And then
up here in front of him.
And then I am going to use. I'm just going to use mesmerize real quick.
All right.
That one is. It's my manipulation and leadership versus his current willpower. Or rather, that's the difficulty, is his current willpower.
I forget, is mesmerize, dominate, or presence?
That one is dominate.
Okay. So he's human, his willpower is 3, so your difficulty is 3.
Mm-hmm.
Again, these are not trained Inquisition vampire hunters that have been trained to fight against vampires. This is just people.
We've been spoiled on humans.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks to ones, I only got 3 successes.
Oh, no.
Sadness.
Okay, so you got 3 successes. What are you trying? Let's see. It's
I just get to issue him a longer command.
yeah. So what do you command him to do?
Go wait by the door of the carriage until I tell you otherwise.
Sound like a disappointed father.
He learned it well from both his biological and vampiric father.
Trust me, if this goes the way I hope it does at the end, you're gonna have some fun with me.
Okay. He slides down here. He gets about here.
Slides in the DMs.
Yes. All right. That is Liam's turn. It is Sonoy's turn.
Sonoy is going to make a bite attack against this gentleman.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. He's going to try and dodge.
One success.
You got 2 successes.
Dude, 2 1s, bro. It's so bad.
Just changing blows back and forth. Sonoy goes to take a bite at the guy's ankle, and the guy's able to step away from it just a second. Sonoy's teeth do not find purchase. Okay.
Then, Sonoy is going to make a tactical retreat around Atris.
Okay, so yeah.
Position himself behind Atris so the other guy can't see him as clearly.
Yes, Atris has become meat shield. All right, that's technically the top of the round. This guy's gonna, well, let's see how smart he is. Actually pretty damn smart on 2 dice. Okay. He's gonna look around. He sees whatever the fuck, he doesn't understand what's going on, but his leader's running away. One of his other guys is willfully going and standing next to your guy's carriage. The other ones are all either dead, passed out, or being attacked by wolves and shit. This is more than what he signed up for. So and his wrist is now broken. So, Walter, you feel him kind of slack a bit in your arms. He's still standing, but he's resigned to what's going on.
He's come to his senses.
What would you like to do on your turn? You sensing this?
Look, we showed up here to camp out for the night. Y'all brought the fight to us. Suggest that you don't try to carry it further. That makes sense to you?
Doesn't look like I have much of a choice.
You're damn right. He dropped his pistol, right?
When you broke his wrist, yes, he did.
That's wonderful. I'm just gonna let go of him entirely. And wait, am I gonna do that? I just literally watched 2 of his friends in front of him in his field of view get not embraced, but bitten.
Well, technically, depending on how you're looking, 3 of them.
Pretty son.
Yeah. Oh no.
As of right now, of a guy that knows nothing about the supernatural, I will say that what he did see in front of him, because he actually had line of sight of this,
Yeah.
a wolf, a woman, and an ugly dude appear out of nowhere, start biting the fuck out of his friends, and this guy's just like, you can tell he's kind of like shocked. Like it's one of those things of he's not like believing what his eyes are seeing.
The hills do indeed have eyes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. In context, what I need to do is bite this guy and pull 2 blood out of him.
Okay. Since you're already grappled with him, that's fine. Go ahead and make the dex roll.
Yeah, I'll roll it for funsies. Is my brawl also 5? It sure is. I mean, there's no way I could botch this roll.
See, you say that, and yet
Last words.
Walter does not botch this roll.
you go to bite and you chip a tooth.
I got a couple ones, but I got 5, 6 more successes to balance it out.
You get 2 blood out of him. If you're down at least 2, you don't have to worry about forcibly spending it on other attributes.
I firmly believe that all of orthodontics is done by kindred.
And
I'm actually down 4, so well now I'm down 2.
So yeah, so he's unconscious.
I will lay him gently on the ground.
Okay, you do so. That is your turn. Wea, what are you doing? The guy that you ran up and tried to threaten is like a frightened deer running for the hills.
I'm gonna run and tackle him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend a blood for a celerity point though.
And are you tackling for damage or?
I want to like tackle and like grapple him and restrain him.
Okay.
Yeah, we've played that game before. We finally settled on grapple being the role. I feel like.
Yeah, I want to jump and grapple him.
Okay, so that will be.
Sorry.
Yeah. So then that's going to be the strength plus brawl versus the target's dex plus athletics.
Four successes.
Yeah, you do so. You tackle him and grapple him.
And I'm gonna bite him.
Okay. Yeah, because that's your secondary action. So you bite him for damage or for blood?
I'm gonna bleed him.
Okay. You can take up to 3 blood. How much are you taking?
I'm taking 2.
Okay, dex plus brawl just to do the bite.
Five successes.
You do it. You take another 2 blood. Another guy jizzes himself in the snow, and
And then I'm
Don't eat white
gonna
snow.
use because I am only down 1 blood point again, so I'm gonna beef up my strength again, or my strength point.
Okay.
So now I have 5 strength and 5 dexterity.
Ooh.
Okay. You do so. You are feeling fast. You are feeling strong. You are feeling good. This is you can take on anything.
Can I pick this guy up and hoist him?
I would say that'd be another action to do.
Okay. Can I drag him with my movement?
That'd also be an act, like anything other than you moving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the last person anyway, so we would be out of initiative at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Oh, never mind. There's the wolf one.
There's this guy right here actually.
Me now, so now I got some.
And then I'm gonna leave him and take my movement back to the stagecoach.
Okay. All right. That is Waya's turn. Atris, it is your turn. This guy's unconscious and limp. This guy is right here as he and Sonoy were unsuccessfully trading blows.
Okay. I just want to play around with it a little bit. She's gonna draw her sword, point at him, and she said, "If you know what's good for you, you'll pick up your friend here and you'll go to the carriage."
Okay, so you're gonna try for an intimidation roll?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and do manipulation plus intimidation.
While standing over his friend's body.
Yeah, that you just randomly bit, as there's a fucking timber wolf there too. So it's not gonna be exactly.
She pulled out a sword.
1 success.
1 success.
Hoping for more.
Wow, he actually rolled pretty well on his courage roll. Shit. Okay. He's scared. He is definitely, like, he's not sitting there going, whatever, but fear often incites fight or flight. So you're reading his body posture, and it seems to be more on the fight side of things. He's stupid, but so Noah, it is your turn. You've bled this guy. You are aware, because you've been a vampire for long enough, that this guy, without getting medical attention, is probably not going to be doing so hot, just because you did take 3 blood from him. However, you do that. You see Walter, as you look up, Walter's standing over now this guy that's laid down in the snow. What do you want to do?
I heard the question is, do I Capri Sun or move to a new one?
Choice is yours.
Depends on how much blood you want to take.
I drop him like a boring rag doll. I got a new Barbie this week. And I'm gonna
I don't
want
to play with you anymore.
What are you doing?
I'm going to jump up on that cliff next to the one Atris just spoke to.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dex plus, as I just moved the entire world. Dex plus athletics, please.
Okay.
Standard difficulty.
Three.
Easy enough. You're able to get up there, not with any flourish, but you're able to get up on the ridge, and you're standing right next to the guy that's has his gun pointed at Atris. And what do you do?
I'm gonna intimidate him as well.
Okay.
Better listen to the pretty lady.
I forget. Are you or do you not have Mask of 1,000 Faces on right now?
No, not yet.
Okay.
And doesn't Noah get the?
I wasn't ready for it.
But doesn't
I'm
Noah get the
horribly
merit?
ugly. I kind of look bluish, like a dead person.
What was the
but
question, Danny?
Doesn't Noah have a merit for intimidation advantage on people he just met?
Yes.
What's the merit?
I have bruiser merit. It's a -1 difficulty against anyone who doesn't know how strong I am physically.
Okay.
Oh my god, I should have taken that.
That's ridiculous. What the fuck?
Okay. Go ahead and roll your manipulation plus intimidation. The difficulty is currently 3 because you're a hideous, ugly monster that has appeared and disappeared and is physically imposing, even with your beer gut and everything else. And he's
Go on.
He apparently found out that what was supposed to be an easy shakedown is you found a group of cannibals camping in
Yeah.
It's almost like the relevant question is how much more shit can he lose?
What was
Maybe
the
it's all of it.
difficulty?
3. Mainly because I want to see. I mean, if you just botched on this, it would be hysterical. But it would be.
I think it's gonna be hysterical either way.
7.
Yeah. Okay. As you as you kind of like just appear in his ear kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. This guy is freaked the fuck out as Noah, I need you to make a Dex Athletics roll for me, please.
Knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, no, this is literally just, again, this is the fight or flight. Like, they're intimidated, they're scared, but it's one of those things of this monster just appeared. Like, so it's bad enough that you guys were a bunch of hillbilly rednecks eating people, but now you're also like a monster.
How dare you? We're not hillbilly rednecks, at least I'm not.
What's our difficulty?
I mean, this is a standard Dex Athletics to dodge.
I got a 5.
You got 5 successes?
It's insane tonight.
Okay. Yeah, no, he with his free hand, okay, so this is, he pulls a Bowie knife from his belt and goes to try and shank you in the chest as you just grab his wrist and stop the, like, kind of sidestep and grab the wrist and give him one of these. Yeah, nah, he's just looking at you like, what the fuck are you?
As a final move to this whole charade, can I just give him a nice spank off the cliff?
Nice. Yes. You've been a bad boy.
You know, technically it's not your turn and that would be an action for spank, but sure, I'm just at this point. He doesn't take any damage, but you sit there and basically swat his ass as he loses his footing on the slippery, snowy rocks and falls down the 4 feet onto the ground, onto his ass, as he just then kind of like shuffles back, like reverse crab walking kind of thing. I'm going to say we can go ahead and end combat at this point. He's paralyzed with what the fuck. Everyone else is either unconscious, or
worse.
Or worse.
How did Waya get way over there?
Because he was over here, and then he has a shit ton of movement with his pump stats, where he was able to get from here to here.
Oh, okay.
A lot of movement.
Yeah. So, all right. Combat is out. You guys kind of all take stock and look around. You have 1, 2.
Liam will pass by that guy on the far left, and he'll just drag him back to the carriage on his way there.
I'm gonna walk up to the guy on the far east that's like dying and kill him further by taking 2 blood. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna watch this dude that's like backing away from Noah, and if he looks like he's paying attention, I'm just gonna like put my body between him and it. I don't really want him to see me drinking from this guy overtly with fangs. I'm just gonna lean down on him when he can't see what the hell I'm doing.
You don't want Noah to see that you're taking his sloppy seconds.
I don't want Noah's prey to see that they are prey. That's all.
Fair enough.
It ruins the meat.
What is your humanity rating, Walter?
I'll answer that question, but this dude shot me.
That's fair. That's fair.
My humanity
Also-
is
he's
down
also
to
currently-
5 now.
He is also currently incapacitated. Okay, so 5. That's kind of middle of the road. So yeah,
He looks like he's dying, right?
yeah, it's one of those things of you're definitely not going to waste time getting this guy medical attention. He shot you. You guys didn't hunt this guy. So I'll say you'd be able to justify in your head of, well, he's dying. He's dying anyway. Better use every part of the buffalo. So, it's one of those things.
If my character ever drops to like super low humanity, the world is fucked.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
It's
dude. You want the end
I
game.
most of you, if you like this, there's a reason that vampires hunt other vampires whose humanity has dropped too low. I mean, Rebecca is right on that cusp of, you get the idea that the only reason she hasn't been hunted is because she's under Pembroke's, umbrella protection. But even her, she is just barely passing as human and not an animal. So it's one of those things. I mean, Asmodeus chooses to be an asshole kind of thing. But it's one of those things of Rebecca is like right on that cusp of, if she lost any more humanity, like, and other vampires found out about that, that's a big risk to all of you, and they would just hunt them. So it's kind of like playing out a dog that has rabies.
Lord Pembroke likes to make his own rules, huh?
That's not uncommon for a lot of elders. Like, it's one of those things of do as I say, not don't give me shit about what I do. As a matter of fact, sidebar slightly, but that's one of many reasons why the Sabbat formed in reaction to the Camarilla and the hypocrisy of a lot of leadership of it. But anyway, you go ahead and take another 2 blood from this guy. He is definitely like, his breathing is getting ragged. He's alive, but probably not for much longer.
Because this guy is right behind me, I'm not going to say shit.
Okay. Liam, as you're dragging the other guy that was the first one that Walter took out, the other guy that you whammied, Mr. Turner, is just sitting there, and even in this cold twilight hours before dawn, you see the moonlight hitting him, and you just see sweat pouring down his face as he is not making eye contact. He is down on the ground and he is mumbling to himself, what you make out to be some form of a prayer of him asking God to get him out of this situation.
And as I pass by, I hear muttering, it's like, you might be in luck, but we'll see if you'll make a hears you.
He does not, there's a hitch in his mumbling, but then he just can, like, he does not look up. He is too afraid to look up. He is too afraid to make eye contact. It is like an animal that feels like if it moves, it's going to attract too much attention from a predator kind of thing. It is just ultimate fear. All right, what do you guys do? This guy is very much conscious, but like terrified. The rest are all unconscious. What are y'all doing?
I gather all the guns.
I gather all the
ground.
bodies.
Okay. It takes you a few minutes to do so. What's everyone else doing?
Atris will grab the one in front of her, just kind of slightly rolling her eyes, be like, the guy you picked up was supposed to help. Yeah, oh, never mind. And she's just going to help and pick up the body for a minute.
Now, what do you help, or what are you doing?
I'm gonna help Leia with moving all the bodies out of the way. But we're moving all the bodies that were bitten or dead, definitely out of eyesight.
Okay. I'll say, Walter, what are you doing with the guy that is on death's door at this point?
Oh, nothing at all. I left him lying there. I'm gathering guns.
Okay.
I'm making it though, like,
do that,
especially that rifle over there is a particularly important addition.
What are you guys doing with this
rounding
guy
up their
who has
firearms.
not been bitten or
I also tell him to hand me his weapons.
he does so.
I frisk him and make sure that he did in fact do so.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll walk over to them while Walter is doing that.
Okay.
I want to holler at Walter. Save me that shotgun. I can't aim worth a shit.
Walter, go ahead and give me a perception plus investigation roll.
All right. I got you, Noah. Perception investigation, 6 dice. 5 dice, 6 dice. Hell yeah. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.
You are fairly confident that he handed over anything that he had on his person.
Good choice.
I will say, with 5 successes, you go through all his pockets and everything else, and you do notice in his pockets a couple dollars and also a couple of wanted posters.
Well, I'm gonna look at those. I'm gonna unfold them probably, and take a gander.
Okay.
What do they look like?
Well,
they're on paper.
Yes, they look like paper. You can't read.
There's pictures.
One seems to be of a somewhat portly gentleman with mutton chops that go into the mustache look.
The Chesapeake Arthur.
So you see him, doesn't ring any bells as far as anything, and since you can't read, you can't see what he's wanted for. How I'll say lack of being able to read doesn't mean that you can't tell like numbers kind of thing. He's only worth like $20. But
portly mutton chops.
Yep.
And then
the other is a Hispanic gentleman, big mustache. You see they have him drawn with bandoliers that go across each shoulder. He's worth $100.
Ooh. Looks like y'all is hunting.
And then the third one you do recognize. As a matter of fact, you get the idea that you might have seen this exact same, like not just this a similar one, but this exact same wanted poster in the sheriff's office back in town of a familiar female individual drawn with an eye patch over her right eye, and she is worth $500.
Yeah, she is. Oh, y'all going hunting, are you? Y'all bounty hunters?
That's what we told you.
Yeah, but she didn't establish we were part of any bounties, so the fact that you decided to hold us up doesn't quite check out. Y'all only bounty hunters, or y'all do a little business on the side?
Seeing as y'all out here eating people, I think our suspicions were pretty correct that you were up to something.
Now, Walter, I have a proposition that I think you might find most interesting.
And Walter, you look up and Liam's standing on the other side of this guy who is sitting down in the snow.
Now,
I welcome him with my eyes.
And real quickly, just because before I say this, is it, I don't want to say it ironically, is he younger? Is he older? Like this guy?
This particular one, I would say he's too old for him to be a snack for you, kind of thing.
I'm mostly wondering if I called him young man, ironically, would that be weird? And in this case, no, I'm not going to call him that. Now,
he looks like he's like late 20s, early 30s ish.
okay, so he's older than Liam looks.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Walter, this gentleman presents me with a very interesting opportunity. Now, I know you might recall this. We have a very expensive vase that's in the carriage, and I've been looking for someone to have a gander at it. But I do need at least 2 bodies. This gentleman would do me the greatest of services if he'd be willing to volunteer, and with your permission, I would like to offer him amnesty from our group if he's willing to help us out in looking into it. Now, sir, I don't assume you are a master of antiquities, but just want to see what you think about this here vase. Would that be something that might interest you?
Fella, let me tell you something. You see what I can do. I take orders from him. You should too.
He's looking back at Liam and Walter. What the fuck is wrong with you? You want me to look at some pottery?
Now, it does sound a bit silly, I know, but I am a rather what you call eccentric type, and I've been known to make odd decisions based on my own eccentricities. Now, there is a little bit of a caveat. Your friend down there in the snow, who appears to have been expired, will also be next to you while you examine this vase.
And when you say that he looks for the first time, as Walter had been kind of shielding him, as you just see the snow around the guy start to turn crimson as it is what is left in his body is leaking out. And
I sealed his wound.
Did
Bite wounds.
Did you?
That's a fair question. We had established kind of as a group that we tend to do that unless otherwise stated.
You do usually tend to do that when you're trying to keep them alive, as you did bite him again, knowing that he was going to die.
Also, when I kill them, because I don't want like people discovering the bodies, and forensically going, "Oh fuck, vampires!"
I have in the past. So I will say you closed the wound. However, you still were biting into this guy's neck, so there's going to be at least a little bit of red around him. So
now, I will say this: there is one other gentleman amongst you that is still conscious. So if you decline my offer, it will be offered to him. However, at that point, your safety is forfeit on my end.
It's a good deal, bucko.
At this point, Turner looks up, trying to look past Wea, and looks over at the guy and tries to do as you remember that this guy actually had a supernatural and everything else, given the demon that popped out of the necklace last time and everything else.
I will say this, that man behind you knows who I am. And I reckon he got you into this mess. I wouldn't necessarily give him an avenue out over you. I have charisma. I have a bunch of stuff.
You have presence.
No. Yeah. I'm going to say go ahead and give me a charisma plus
subterfuge, manipulation.
I mean, it wouldn't be charisma plus manipulation. They're in the same category, but I'm going to say expression.
What?
This is how well. This is like a persuasion check.
So while he's busy with that, I'd like to go to the far east and drain that man of any leftover points.
Okay.
I will keep my guy's attention while Noah is doing.
Yeah, as this ugly monster is just chowing down on. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just sidestep in front of that line of sight there.
I suppose while they're doing that, Atris can start binding up all the unconscious fellows, just so when they wake up, they don't.
I will say about this time, the carriage doors open, and you see let's see, Bartleby's passed out.
It's just Henry.
Well, you see PETA actually out holding a knife in front of him. And he's kind of checking, and he's like, "Oh, it seems you already have this covered."
Oh, it'll be. Thank you so much for your concern. No, we definitely have this covered.
Yeah, party's over.
Okay.
You're fast.
What were your rolls? I'm sorry. What was your roll?
I got 3.
Okay. Fine. Give me the damn pot. I don't know. Let me look at it.
Okay. Right behind our carriage, there is a little bit of an alcove. Go ahead and wait there, and we will meet you in a moment.
He kind of slowly gets up. He's looking at Walter's back. Sonoy kind of growls at him as he walks by, kind of thing. As he kind of goes and he sits over here. PETA comes out as Turner kind of looks at him, and then Henry comes out. Wea, I need you can either choose to make a perception plus alertness or perception plus awareness roll.
Okay.
And just let me know which one it is and how many successes.
I'm gonna use awareness, and I'm gonna use a willpower. Three successes.
Okay. Okay, because Henry failed this roll. The hairs on the back of your neck stand up. And especially as someone who is as connected to the more primal side of things as you are, it's like immediate danger kind of thing. Like you just suddenly the space you're in feels unsafe. As you glance back as Henry is following, PETA gets out of the carriage. You hear the door open. PETA says what he says. He gets out. Henry follows behind silently, not saying anything. As you kind of glance over your shoulder and look, for the briefest of seconds, you catch Henry's gaze, and his pupils are full dilated. Like it's just black. I mean, there's still the white parts of the eyes, but as far as the iris and everything, it's just full dilation black. And there is a smile on his face that makes you feel uncomfortable as he is looking past you and looking at towards where the body is that Noah had just finished chewing on.
Henry, you okay, bud?
It's kind of like and he just kind of looks at you. That smell. Wow.
I walk towards Henry.
Okay. It's not a fault. I mean, he's right behind you, so you're basically just pivoting at this point.
And I stare him dead in the eyes. Like
Okay,
faced like I want to be like.
I need you to make a courage roll for me. The difficulty is 8.
Ooh.
8?
Holy shit.
What the fuck? All right.
Hmm.
Oh, I only get 3 dice. Yeah, I want to know what's going on here, so I'm gonna spend another. Okay, I can't spend a willpower on courage.
You cannot spend willpower on courage.
Okay. Here we go. 2 successes. Oh no, you said at 8?
Yeah.
1 success.
Okay.
I rolled an 8.
Yeah. The difficulty on this one was 2. So
Oh, come on.
you look at him and you're turning at him and you're squaring up as you're having to look down at him because Henry's not super tall. Henry's only about like 5'4", like he's about Adele's height.
What are the natures? Huh.
And you look at him and you see Henry's face. I mean, it's Henry's face, and it looks like someone whose eyes are dilated. Like it's not even like a supernatural, it's just full dilation 100%, where you don't see any color to his the iris, just all black.
Mhm.
The pupils are full. And you look at those pupils and your mind gets a flash to it. And first you see bodies strewn around you, and you quickly realize that these are people that you knew, people that you grew up with on the Trail of Tears, those dying around you. Your mind flashes again to this is actually a new one. You don't remember killing your mother. Like you just know that it happened now, but like you were not really, the beast was in control at that point.
Yeah, I wasn't present. Yeah.
And you see it play out in front of you. You see Wea yourself snarling, growling, fangs bared, claws bared, as she's speaking to you in your language, and you just go and swipe across her torso as a rib bone pops out and intestines.
You swipe right.
Pour out. And just this look of shock and fear are the last ones that cross her face before her eyes milk over and she falls down. And then you get another quick. This is all happening like in second. It's not like a long drawn out vision. This is just like flashes within a second. And it's one of those things that your brain is thinking that this is taking longer than it should, but this is all happening in real time in like a second kind of thing. As far as everyone else is observing, Wea just turned to look at Henry, who's not really talking loud enough for anyone other than Henry to hear it. Other than Wea to hear it. And you see this hellscape is the best way. Fire and soot and brimstone. There are bodies hanging from chains and jettisoning from the ground, being impaled by these iron spikes. Blood just streaming down, stalagmites as fire erupts and everything else.
Sounds pleasant.
And you are afraid. You do not want to get any. As a matter of fact, you take a couple steps back from Henry.
Can I trip and fall on the ground while backing up?
Sure. You take a couple steps closer, and then Henry blinks for a second, and then eyes go as he opens his eyes again. They look normal, and the other thing you noticed was he actually wasn't wearing his glasses, and you see him go, and then kind of reach in his pocket and pull out his glasses and look down. Leia, are you okay?
How did you just do that?
Do what? I was asleep in the carriage, and then we heard a commotion, and then I guess
Is he armed?
Yeah. He has his the very ornate pistols that he has on his side, the ones that have the scripture etched into them in Latin. He has them at his side like he usually does. He came to this party to help you guys fight, so he's still armed. Though his hands were not on his pistols, I will say.
Yeah. Waya just Waya's gonna stand up. He's gonna dust himself off and stand up, and he's gonna say, "I thought your expertise was with firearms."
Just look. He's looking at you very confused, and he's just going, I study many things, but I don't think right now's the time to talk about it. What happened out here?
Ambush. Quickly dispatched. And I'm just gonna kind of like narrow my eyes. I'm not gonna take my eyes off of him.
Go ahead and give me a perception plus empathy roll, Leah.
I like this. Empathy. Five successes.
Henry's body posture is completely different than what it was. Like, it's not like he's like slumped over or anything, but this is the Henry you knew kind of thing. This is very much, you're getting that his confusion seems legitimate. It doesn't seem to like he's very confused about why he's very much acting like you're the one that's acting like a fucking weirdo kind of thing. It's one of those things of what he just told you is honestly what he thinks. He's confused. So it's one of those things of you are fairly convinced that either he is one of the best bullshit artists that you've ever seen in your entire life, or this is legit. And it seems whatever was wrong with him, he's back to the Henry you're familiar with. Still an intimidating individual with what he can do and what he's able to do, but not immediately imposing or threatening, as he kind of actually chuckles and looks around and he goes, well, that was rather stupid of them.
Yeah. And I'm just going to kind of like back away and then move to Walter.
Okay.
Noah, when you're done with your friend there, could you please deposit him in the back?
Noah, I'd say if you a little time has passed. How many blood points are you down, did you say?
Muted. Well, if I have been drinking on that guy and got what's left of him, I am at full 20.
Then yeah, I'll say it takes the time, but you get the additional. There was 6 more blood points in him, so yeah, you can take the addition. I think you said you need 5 more or whatever.
Yeah, I needed 5 more.
He took 3. Walter took 2, so he would have had 5 left.
Yeah, that's right. He would have 5 left, which is what he had left in him. So you drain him dry. The guy is 100% desanguinated. Like, he is just, little bits of him are like tight against the muscle. He's just completely drained dry, completely sheet white pale. You got every last drop. And funny enough, he's actually a little bit, if you do decide to pick him up and take him to the back of the carriage per Liam's request, he's a little bit lighter than the average human body is at this point too. Because at this point, he's jerky.
He's a little leader.
I will try my best to just, what is that distance? Like, can I just toss him?
Well, that would be over that's over a cliffside.
The good old yeet roll.
Oh boy.
I mean, you can toss him in the back.
Oh, we got the combat mat.
You can toss him in the back and oh, sorry. Let's see. This guy was here. This guy is here. Yeah, because no, he's there. Okay, yeah. So luckily this guy's in the back, so he doesn't quite see it, but there is a kind of a sickening thump as the guy's just back there. Okay. What are y'all doing now?
So did that other body get behind the back of the carriage as well?
So right here is the dried out body. Right here is the guy that you've convinced to look at your roadside pottery.
I need them both together.
And this is the guy that you, Mr. Turner. So okay, so Noah, were you gonna chuck him in the back?
Yeah, that was the plan.
Okay, go ahead and make a yeet roll if you don't want to carry him. If you're just gonna chuck him up and over the carriage.
I just look at Walter like, we get to try the murder base. I'm so excited.
You and your toys. Didn't that thing have fucked up visions?
I mean, Adele got visions when she touched it and looked at it.
Yes, but this is how Walter is choosing to interpret the question.
4 successes.
4.
Yeah. The body just goes up and over this thing as you don't have eyesight on it because where the carriage is, this back thing, the guy had to kind of squeeze behind. You just hear a crunch and a slump, and the guy go, Jesus Christ, God damn it!
God. You eat you got some dead meat.
Yes, Walter, in answer to your question, she got some fucked up visions, but we still don't know exactly how it works, and I don't know if they need to be alive or recently dead, and so I want to find out.
So this is in the name of science.
Exactly, science.
Me with science.
So I'm gonna go to the carriage and get the murder vase and like just kind of like I'm gonna sneak around to the front to Mr. Thomas there, just kind of look at him like, I'll be with you in a moment, and run around to the back.
Okay. This guy is pressed all the way up against this alcove as he's just staring at this crumpled up dead body on the other side of the carriage. As you walk forward, once again, the vase is about yay big. Kind of wide at the rim, slims in, then comes out. Kind of a nice shape to it. Looks. Liam, go ahead and give me a int plus. Excuse me. Sorry.
I don't think I have enough dice for that.
Damn it.
I'd say either academics or crafts, either one.
None of us have crafts.
I think it's one of the very few things that's one of the 5 I don't have.
Josephine does. As Marcus does.
I will get some crafts with Josephine in the future date.
If it's standard diff, I got 2 9s and a 7, so I got 3 successes.
Okay. It looks 2 9s and 7, 3 successes. Okay, so that's slightly above average. In the circles you've traveled, you and Adele often help anything short of actual like jewels, gold, silver, things like that. You two, in the history of the Obsidian Spurs being together, have been the ones to appraise and be able to value art on whether or not it's worth robbing, stealing, taking, fencing in some way.
Well, and due to my sire, I transport mystical objects through the trading company.
Correct. It seems like it's a Ming vase, which is in of its own is already very expensive.
It's pronounced vase.
But it to everyone else, it is definitely. It seems like it's a Ming vase, and it doesn't seem like it's. You're looking it over, and from everything you can tell from just a cursory glance, it definitely seems to be legit. Like it doesn't seem to be a forgery or someone like recreating the style or anything like that. And it has this what looks like at the top of it seems to be almost like the tops of like trees. And then you see cranes in flight. But as you look down, you're looking at it, and it's like the longer you look at it, the longer the images start to swirl, and what before just kind of looks like the ground, you swear you see what looks like the images in this porcelain of bodies on the ground from where the cranes are taking off, and just bodies with like spears and swords coming out of them. And then as it drops down to the base of the vase, just amorphous humanoid shapes, but like writhing with mouths agape. And again, like the longer you stare at, the more it's almost like the images start to swirl, and you blink, and then it's back to just looking like a pretty vase with cranes and trees.
Trains, planes, and automobiles.
And then I will say, give me a int plus occult roll, please.
Two.
Or
2 9s, if that helps.
Yeah, I'll say with that, you have heard somewhere that in certain Eastern cultures, the crane was oftentimes seen as a creature that was either, you don't quite remember whether it's a reincarnation of a soul or something that carried a soul from this life to the next. Something about cranes and souls, you don't quite remember. It's not exactly your area of expertise or study, but you're remembering some connection and correlation there.
Oh, now this is beautiful, isn't it?
Sure.
And I'm just gonna kind of grab the rickety corpse and bring it a little bit more forward so it's closer to this guy.
Yeah, it's goddamn beautiful. Whatever you say.
Oh, my apologies. You do not have to touch your associate here. I just need to make sure of something. Now, you do see the vase that I have here, correct?
That's hard to miss. It's a big old pot.
Oh, thank you. Now, I am going to open it. I just want you to inspect it just a bit, and we'll take a look at this. Do this for me, and I assure you, myself and none of my compatriots here will harm you. You'll be free to go of your own accord. Though I doubt you might want to tell anyone of our existence.
Okay.
I'm gonna hop up on this outcropping and look down on the proceedings.
Okay. So Liam is here.
Into the thick of it.
Oh yeah.
You got up what around here, Walter?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Where is everyone else?
I'll say Atris, after she gets done tying everyone up, she'll be on the outcropping too, but she'll still keep eyes on Mr. Thomas, just to keep an eye on him.
More like over here kind of thing.
But she still wants to see the action.
Okay, I'll say if you kind of go like this, you can see him a bit, well, at least where you figure if he tries to make a run for it. Although I will say that I don't really have a figure for them, but PETA and well, actually here. PETA is here. He's kind of looking over what went on, and Henry he's kind of interested in what's going on too, so I guess he'll be kind of over here kind of glancing. Noah, where are you?
Ooh, I'd be far away, probably behind Sonoy.
Okay. And then Wea, where are you?
I want to watch the murder vase. I'm interested, I guess.
I mean, we
so fucking stupid.
I know.
Where would you like to be to watch the murder vase?
I'll be next to Walter just in case anything happens.
No, you've got turkey vulture, so you can't fucking shake your head and say it's stupid.
On his left or on his right?
He'll be on his left. He's
Okay.
ambidextrous, so it doesn't
Okay,
matter.
so that's where everybody's at. All right. So Liam, you're holding the murder vase. You've already seen what looks like the paint and the porcelain on it shifting slightly. And like I said, you blink and then it goes back to looking kind of normal. What exactly there is a lid on this thing. What exactly are you planning on doing? Which I will say this, with the 3 successes you got earlier on just observing it, it's unusual because usually the main vases don't have lids to them. They're usually open top things. So
based on what I remember from the vision that Adele described to us, and based on how I had to activate the monocle, I'm just gonna kind of force a willpower point into the vase.
Okay.
Just kind of hoping that will help activate it, and then I'm going to twist open the lid and have this guy peer into it.
So it actually has latches on either side. So you unlatch it.
Think it'll be another genie?
I hope not.
I hope not.
You open it up and you focus your will into this thing. You reach out with your mind. I need, let's see.
Oh, good God.
Everyone except for Noah.
Oh, no.
No, or Atris. Atris is just outside of the range of this thing.
So just me, Walter, and Whale.
Well, you, Walter, and Whale, like you said, make a perception plus awareness roll.
Fingers crossed.
3 successes.
Oh. 4.
Nice.
Okay. You all, it's on the edge of your hearing. And coming from almost, some of it sounds like it's right in your ear, which is very unpleasant, or in front of you, or behind, or a little bit. It's coming from different directions simultaneously. Some getting like, it sounds like whispering, talking on the wind kind of thing, and some of it is you can't quite make out what they're saying, but it's this, and it starts as this thing opens, it's getting a little bit louder and a little bit like angrier and a little bit more intense. As this guy's looking into this, like, confused, but he's also kind of like, he doesn't seem to be picking up on it yet that you notice. Liam, give me a int plus occult roll, please.
Can I spend a willpower on this?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I will spend 2 because I only have 3 dice to roll for this, and I won.
I'm gonna drop into a combat ready stance and put my hand on Wea's arm.
With that, I got 2 9s and a 7, so 5 successes.
You feel like when you reach out with your willpower that it started something, but it wasn't quite enough to get it to fully do what it's supposed to do. But you feel like it started something, but it needs more. The monocle you seem to get that the small expenditure of your willpower was enough. You get the idea that this might need a little bit more to get it to do what it was designed to do.
I am going to prick my thumb on my fang and spend a blood point and smear some vitae along the rim.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
You can create a 1,000-yard stare in your storyteller. You've accomplished something.
EPK.
Well, it's one of those things of this thing actually does a couple different things depending on what you pour into it.
Oh,
We never got instructions, so this is how we're doing it.
No, you didn't. Okay.
Blessing.
You didn't read the manual first.
It just says don't.
Yeah, just don't. That's what it says. Just don't.
Okay. Let me look up my notes real quick.
Sounds like even I forgot what the fuck it does.
Well,
No,
I
we
know
ne-
it does. I just need to see the stats.
Yeah,
on
we
this
never
thing.
got instructions on this. We got Adele's description of her vision of what could happen, but we never actually got instructions on this thing at all.
Nick.
I mean, you'd think we'd learn by now not to fuck with the weird random shit.
They correct me if I'm wrong. I think all of our information, all of the items we got were just stories. I don't think we ever got instructions on how to use any of them.
Correct. It was literally
Yes.
just Adele touching something and getting flashes of the items, some of them being created, some of them being used in the past. You have not been able to find. You got the idea that it's either going to take research or taking it to someone who's more adept at spells and things, whether
Or
it
pouring shit into it.
or pouring shit into it.
We're gonna go blind like we always do.
Okay.
Liam is performing citizen science right now.
Can't test them other.
Well, we're about to find out. We're the kids that are testing it.
We're
Kids.
the kids in America.
Oh,
It's actually true.
And I can't say if the mother approves, but we met someone who smacked of the dark mother, and I don't remember anymore who it was.
It sounds like you're trying to covertly ask someone if they do a certain drug. Do you do you smack the dark mother?
Okay.
If you smack
need-
Lilith, she won't appreciate it.
All of I need Liam, Walter and Wea to all make a perception plus occult roll.
Oh man.
Difficulty is 7.
So difficulty 9, right? If you don't have a cult.
Is it +2 or +1 if we don't have a
Oh,
cult?
I have a cult. Never mind.
Plus 1, so it'd be difficulty 8.
My dice just almost flew out the window.
let's not do that.
And what difficulty?
8 if you don't have a cult, 7 if you do.
2 successes.
I got 3.
Okay.
8, 8, 9.
Okay.
We cult boys.
I got 2 10s that rolled into nothing better.
Walter is the only one that made enough of a check.
Not even a cult roll.
Whispers turn into full on as wailing, shrieking, ear-splitting sounds start happening, and you see this guy grab his head. You all take, or I should say, luckily none of you botched. It would have been different if it was a botch. Liam and Wea, you each take 2 points of non-soakable lethal damage as blood just starts to come trickling down your ears as you feel. So each of you mark off a blood point too, because it's blood trickling down your ears. You take 2 points of lethal non-soakable damage because this is your attack, basically a psychic attack. Actually, Liam, you have don't
Resistance?
you have defense against magic?
Yeah,
And
it has
magic
magic resistance. Yeah.
Yeah. What does the magic resistance do for you?
It makes the attacks against me, the difficulty is increased by 2.
Okay. I mean, this is not really an attack. This is just an automatic effect. So, but I'll say only take 1 lethal then I'll just say for this one, because it's not really a roll, it just happens. So I'll say only take 1 lethal. You still lose the 1 blood point, and you take the 1 lethal as this shrieking, wailing thing happens. You guys can now mark
Do
down.
I hear it?
Oh, you hear it. Yeah, it's just
Okay.
you hear the screaming and wailing of what sounds like an untold number of tortured souls coming from this thing, echoing out of it, kind of thing. Anyone who wants to make a note of this, you figured out one of the spells this thing can do with the expenditure of 1 willpower point and 1 blood point into it. You can do the Din of the Damned. Anyone within a 50-foot radius of this thing has to make. I'll wait so that way you guys have. Let me know when you're ready to write down the rest. So it's a 15-foot radius. It costs a willpower and a blood point.
I've got it written.
No. Let's see. What was it called?
Din of the Damned.
The Damned.
Dig of the Damned?
Din, like a noise.
Like DIN, I believe. Like din fire.
Everyone within the 15-foot radius must make a perception plus occult roll. It's kind of one of those things of, in this case, if you don't perceive it, it's better kind of thing.
Paradoxically.
To save, you must get 3 or more successes, and it's at difficulty 7. You must get 3 or more successes. Anything less than that, and anyone within that range takes 2 unblockable lethal damage. That's basically the psychic damage. And if they are a vampire, they lose a blood point from it pouring from their ears.
Oh
boy.
Brutal.
Liam, you and only you hear this. Give us more. And you feel the hunger on this thing.
I am sorry. I cannot hear you after that.
You very much hear this multiple. Oh my God. More. And it's one of those things of, it's that weird thing of your brain is hearing this in different languages, but you understand what all of them are saying. You're hearing English, you're hearing dialects that I don't know how many languages can Liam speak.
French, English, and Spanish.
You definitely hear some Spanish, you hear some
Mas.
French, you hear other things that
Me gusta más.
I will also say that let's see, 1, 2, 3. Liam, you see from the corpse behind you, the one you were holding, this light coming from its chest, this white, almost, it kind of hurts to look at, almost radiant light, as it then goes into the vase.
Once I see that, I close it. That's what I was waiting to find out.
I need you to make before that, I need every vampire within a 15-foot radius. So once again, it's going to be
The 3 of us.
the 3 of you to make a willpower roll. The difficulty is 7, and you have
current or just our willpower.
Your current willpower, and it is difficulty 7, and you have to get 3 or more successes.
Oh, that's fine. We'll be
4 successes.
fine.
We're fine.
5.
5 successes.
That's a single botch on that roll right there.
Nice.
Okay. Oh God, you botched. Oh God. Okay.
I killed Walter.
I kill Walter.
Or all of you.
Do we have to touch for your soul now?
Huh?
Oh, sorry.
So,
Go ahead.
Liam and Wea, you feel this pull to want to get like being drawn to this vase. Go ahead and you two first, because we're going to talk about what happens to Walter. Liam and Wea, go ahead and give me a int plus occult roll, please.
Well, that's all Liam.
You have occult, sir.
That is a botch.
Oh yeah, you don't know what the fuck's going on.
And
Yep,
I got
told you.
I got a 7 and a 1, so I got 0.
Okay, yeah, you guys aren't able to glean anything from what this feeling was.
The fuck is this?
This feeling of being drawn to this vase.
I'm still trying to close it.
You look over, and Liam, as the one holding this, Wea, you don't see this other than you see Walter lock up. His eyes go milky white. And he just starts this raspy gasp as he opens his mouth. Liam, you see that same white energy.
Oh no.
But it's not fully white. You see crackles of black. It's dimmed and dark, and you see it start to rise from his chest.
I'm still trying to close it.
I will say, go ahead and make another willpower roll for me, please. And this is your total willpower, not current.
Oh, okay. I guess we need more dice. Yay.
The difficulty is 7.
I assume you don't mean the others of us and just Liam.
This is just Liam to close it.
Oh, I've got 9 dice. Let's see what happens. Okay. 10, 9, 7. Okay, get rid of those. Reroll the 10. Oh, fuck yeah, it's a good one. Another 10. Okay. Chat dice. Okay, so 4.
You are able to, you just keep hearing that more. And you shake it out of your head and you close the lid on it and clasp the latches, and everything goes silent and stops as Walter, suddenly you snap back into yourself and you have to take a knee because you feel so drained right now. Other notes for you guys. Any vampire within a 15-foot radius, any undead within a 15-foot radius must make a current willpower roll, difficulty 7, and score 3 or more successes. If you succeed, you're able to stay where you are, do what you want. If you fail, you are mesmerized by the siren call of this vase, calling any souls or undead to it, and you must make attempts to get closer to this thing. If you botch,
your soul gets ripped out your body.
Yep, a A single botch means that it's if someone's not able to close it in the next round, you basically have one round at the top of your next turn. If no one's closed it, your soul exits your body. If no one closes it in another round, it enters the vase. If you get 2 double botches on, so make sure we make notes on all this. If it's a double botch, your soul instantly leaves your body and is sitting there, and then in one round, it'll enter the vase rather than the 2 rounds. If it's 3 or more botches, your soul instantly enters the vase.
Wait, so I thought that's what the second one did.
No. The second one instantly so the first one, it starts to come out of your body. And then you have
okay.
2 rounds to try and close it, kind of thing. At a double botch, it just gets pulled straight from your body and you only have 1 round to try and close it. The person holding the vase must succeed on a difficulty 7 overall willpower roll of 3 or more successes to ignore the whispering of the dead and damned inside this thing to go ahead and close it. And you only have to make this roll if you want to close it. If you're not trying to close it, you don't have to make the roll.
Continuous soul sucking.
And you get the idea, Liam, that there was still more this could do, that you just scratched the surface of what, because in the vision, normal humans were touching this, and then you finally make that connection of that's what happened to them, of that their souls got ripped out of this thing. But you get the idea there's more that it can do if you were willing to feed it either more blood, more willpower, or some combination of the 2. You don't know what that combination is, you don't know what the recipe is, but you know it can do more. And
Liam is just kind of hug the vase and like fall into his back and just start laughing maniacally.
And at Liam's maniacal laughter holding the murder vase, that is where we're going to end things for tonight.
Very good.
Loved it.
Oh, golly.
Yep.
We had to find out somehow.
Yep. So I will say, for those who are making notes, leave 2 blank slots. Basically, you found out the area effects. There are 2 more basically spell slots of what this thing can do, but you haven't figured out what the equation is yet.
The person holding the vase, how many successes did they require?
To close it?
I guess to close it.
To close it, it's diff 7, 3 successes of total willpower, not current willpower.
Yep.
To ignore for you being an undead, whether you're a ghost, whether you're a vampire, zombie, to not have your soul sucked out, that's the current willpower, difficulty 7, 3 or more successes.
And then do we get to find out what happens if the soul gets sucked out, or is that we're going to find out when we find out?
You'll find out when you find out. Walter.
We could find out.
Walter,
I don't want to find out. Well, he's not with our soul.
Walter almost found out tonight.
He almost fucked around and found out.
Yep. So everyone at home, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming back again. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like, subscribe, tell your friends, comment below if you have questions or comments. We're happy to answer them. And until we see you next time, keep your fangs and your wit sharp, and we'll see you next time on Tumbleweeds and Tombstones.
Night.